Greetings, happy full moon. Today the moon is full in Scorpio, deep water sign that brings transformation and connection to a deeper truth. Not always comfortable, but usually is a good process and well worth it in the long run. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Monday, May 12th. Today's Scorpio full moon is exact at 22 degrees Scorpio with the sun at 22 degrees Taurus. So the moon is in Scorpio, the sun is in Taurus. That is how we define a full moon, is when the sun and moon are opposite. So in opposite signs. And we have also the planet Uranus close to the sun during this full moon. So we have the energy of illumination. The full moon is bringing something to our awareness that we have not previously been able to see, perhaps, or or been willing to see, maybe. And so the full moon illuminates, right? It brings that light of the moon being fully, we can see the fullness of its reflected light from the sun. The light, of course, is coming from the sun and reflects off the moon. So when we see that full moon, something is coming into our consciousness. Something is being revealed that helps us see the way forward. So with Scorpio, we dive deep. We move through the places of mystery, the places where things have been hidden underground, below the surface, where they are not always obvious or apparent. So, with the energy of Uranus close to the sun during this full moon, we also have the energy of change. Uranus brings shift and change, unexpected developments, sometimes surprises. It is the energy of earthquakes and lightning bolts. And of course, Uranus is in the sky all the time, and we aren't constantly having hopefully not constantly having earthquakes and lightning bolts, but when it gets activated by something like this full moon, we have something shifting in ways that reveal something we couldn't see before. So going along with the revelation energy of the full moon, we have the shifting energy of the planet Uranus. So the very, very creative energy of Scorpio. Scorpio has to do with where things originate. It is below the surface. It is the idea, the energy moving before even the idea. The energy that is moving below the surface before it emerges in consciousness, even in the form of an idea, right? A new idea is brewing below the surface before it occurs to us, before it pops into our mind. And then we think, oh, there's that idea. And of course, that makes sense because we've been feeling it. So, Scorpio is the energy of what we are feeling below the surface. And working with the healing energy of Scorpio, we have also the feeling of energy moving in ways that help us to move what is already there. So again, we have the energy moving below the surface, but once we become aware of that energy by perhaps looking at it, perhaps shining a light on what we're on places where we haven't looked before, or haven't been, maybe in some cases we don't even know to look there, right? When something is in our unconscious, we don't necessarily think, oh, I need to address that because it's not surfacing. So in other words, this full moon is asking us to look in places we haven't looked, to become aware in ways we haven't been aware, to confront truths and feelings that we haven't necessarily confronted, at least fully or in the same way as this full moon might be bringing things up. So, what happens when things come to the surface where they have been hidden? It allows us to look at it, to address it, to release what we are ready to release, and to move into new possibilities, new ways of being. And as I was sharing in my video from yesterday, those new ways forward could be so creative energy of Scorpio, right? Something's moving below the surface before it emerges into our awareness. And that is that very creative energy where things are taking shape almost before they take shape. They are existing in the energy realm, in the realm of feelings, things that we notice, like, I just get a feeling about that, or something doesn't feel right, or something does feel right. But we can't put our finger on exactly what it is. So that is the energy of those Scorpio movements. And ultimately, it is providing us with creative possibilities, with awakening our own creative energy. Yesterday we had Mother's Day, and there is nothing more creative than motherhood, literally bringing new life into existence where none was before. And we are all of us, regardless of whether you're a mother or not, regardless of your gender, whatever, right? We all have that creative possibility to bring something into being that didn't exist before. And that is the magic and the mystery of Scorpio. And what is being illuminated with this full moon is our true creative power. And again, that creativity sometimes involves processing things from the past. So letting go of how we have formulated our awareness and our understanding based on things from the past. So when we let go of old patterns, old habits, old traumas, which again, you don't just let go of anybody who's trying to change a habit or a pattern knows that you don't just decide to let go of it, right? Because it's about energy. And that energy that is holding something in place is what needs to be let go, not the habit or the pattern. It is the energy that holds that habit or pattern in place, right? That's a really powerful idea. So when we work on that energy level, we do the hard work. It's mysterious. It has layers of depth and complexity to it, and it involves feeling our feelings, processing awareness, being honest with ourselves, being honest with people we need to be honest with, all of those things. We are working on the energy when we do that. And when we work on the energy, that's when the habit or pattern can change. So, so we want to do that work of working at the energy level, and this full moon helps us to do that work on the energy level by bringing those energies into our awareness, into our consciousness, helping us see what we need to feel, what we need to be honest with ourselves about, what we need to know or remember or connect with, that is at that deeper level. And by doing that, we are working on that energy. And when we work on that energy, the patterns, the habits can change, the new ideas can come in, the creative energy, the creative possibility can emerge. We might suddenly, right, once you do that work of working on the energy, then the way forward might just become obvious. And that is the magic and mystery of working with Scorpio, is that you don't do it. You don't control it. what you do is you work with this level of energy and trust and support of yourself and doing the things that you already know how to do deep within, but you don't normally, I mean, we don't always normally give ourselves time and space to do that work on that energy level. So I hope I'm making sense, right? When we give ourselves the time, and space that we need, the love, the kindness, the caring, the patience that we need, the support that we need, the trust that we already know how to do this, and we need to support ourselves in doing this process. We have to prioritize this deeper healing process, right? It's all about don't keep pushing. Don't like, I mean, it's a habit to reach for your to-do list and to say, I need to do more. I got to get more done. But what if it's reaching for the to-do list that's the habit that's holding the energy in place? And if you instead let go of the to-do list and say, I'm just going to be with myself, be with nature, be quiet, be still, give myself the time I need, the space I need to feel my feelings. So I don't know if it's a to-do list for you, but that's just an example. Hopefully you can connect it to what makes sense for you. So doing this work and the energy of Uranus with this Scorpio full moon also says when you do this work, the shifts will happen. And earthquakes and lightning bolts are not always bad. Sometimes the energy of sudden change is also the energy that brings in new possibilities from out of the blue. So we can invite in the insight, the inspiration, the clarity, the new possibilities, the new ideas, the awareness of, oh, of course, that's how I do this. Right? When we sometimes it's literally when we let go of thinking we're controlling something and we give up or surrender, like surrender control and say, okay, I give up. That's sometimes, right, when it just pops in the clarity of like, oh, okay. I just had to allow. I just had to open my eyes. I just had to notice something I wasn't noticing before that we can't notice because of those energy patterns that are in place. Okay, so I kind of got kind of got into that. Thank you for following all of that with me. But this Scorpio full moon is so potent. And I feel like it's important to kind of understand these energies and what we are feeling and what is unfolding or emerging under the surface. And this will be coming up differently for each of us. So, how you feel it, how it shows up in your life will be unique for you, but nevertheless, still very important, meaningful, powerful if you are doing this work of addressing the deeper energies, supporting yourself with kindness, caring, patience, love, all those things that support that deeper energy to move where it needs to go, and feeling your feelings in ways that help to let go of those old energy patterns and be present, be aware, and awake to notice the new things that are popping in that say, here is the way forward. Here is what you do next. Here is how this works. So that's what we want to create. So doing that deeper work, that under the surface work of feeling our feelings and noticing what we are feeling and being and what's happening on those deeper levels is what will help to do that energy work. Thank you for being here. If you are interested in learning more about where this Scorpio full moon impacts you and your natal chart, I am still taking mini readings for this Scorpio full moon. So check out the description for this video for the link to the mini reading. It's $45. 10 to 15 minute. I record it and email it to you once you book your time. And so you choose a time. I record your mini reading during that time and I email it to you. So easy, so powerful, so helpful, so insightful. So if you want to get a mini reading for yourself for this Scorpio full moon to understand how these deeper energies are moving below the surface and what is unfolding for you, book it using the link in the description for this video. Just click where it says more and the text will expand so you can see the links. And thank you so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms. Astrologyheals.com is my website. You can also find, if that's easier for you, just go to astrologyheals.com and there will be a button there for the mini readings for this Scorpio full moon, sorry. And you do get $10 off if you join as a $5 a month supporter through my member site. So you can learn all about that at astrologyheals.com or in the link in the description for this video. Thanks for being here and subscribing to this YouTube channel. I so appreciate you, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.